Welcome back to another episode of the Finance Bible Podcast. You're joined with myself, Zeke.
And your co-host, Oscar. But before we get into it, please note that nothing in this podcast should ever be considered as personal financial advice.
But if that is what you are seeking, get in touch, let us know, and we will hook you up with the correct professionals.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Let's get into it. Welcome back. You're in another episode of the Finance Bible Podcast with myself, Mr. Goontroth, and Mr. Don sitting about 40 centimetres to my right.
Correct.
Welcome.
Thank you. Today we'll be talking about book recommendations. This was probably the second time we've done this. Third. Yes, I think
but it's been different every time.
But it's quite a bit of time in between each book recommendation episode, so everything changes. New books come out, new authors arise, and the boys like reading different bits of information. So
I will say none of my three recommendations for this episode are new.
Well, that's fine as well. Like sometimes you might go back into the older.
I haven't said them before, but
no, but then yeah. Well, the books actually two of them are new, but we're going to do 6 recommendations. So we're going to do 3 each. We both like quite similar things, but at the same time quite different. So
it's going to be like a
none of these
game
books
of table tennis, where Pesca will hit one and then I'll hit one back. And
these books we won't be crossing over. I know that for a fact.
We haven't pre-discussed, but
we actually have no idea what books we'll be talking about.
The boys are going to be not aligned.
So first things first, I do recommend reading. Might be physically or an audio book. Getting knowledge into your brain, depending what it may be. Might be self-help, might be motivational, might be just learning about politics or learning about your favourite athlete's journey.
Song lyrics.
Yeah, fair enough.
I only bring that up because at the point of listening to this, you guys will be strapped down on a Thursday night, just enjoying it, listening to our voices while we will be listening to whose voice?
Oh, yes, Olivia Rodrigo will be attending.
Yes, we're currently in Melbourne and we've got around the city hype. She's currently within 5 kilometres of us.
We do like her. She's a very good singer-songwriter.
She's one of our favourites. She's been with us for our whole journey of the podcast, and
not just the podcast as well. We were just talking about this earlier when we were going through a tough time at our old job of not getting paid, and there's a few things going. Driving out to work, 40-minute drive. Her and Beebs were the always on repeat in the car, and
a bit of pit for motivation.
Yeah, they got us through. And now we're here. So, first book.
Who do you want to go? You or me?
I'll go.
Okay.
Now, there's a man named Rob Dial. He does have his own podcast, more about personal growth, personal development. If you're into that, give him a listen. We're all about finance and money over here, so that's fine. He's not really a competitor, so go have a listen if you want.
Even if he was, still do it.
Yeah. So, but I've been listening to his podcast quite a bit, and he came out with a book probably 3 months ago called Level Up. So the book really is all his philosophies and all the knowledge from his podcast into this one book. And it's realistically the main accomplishment or the main goal of the book is to help you overcome procrastination and take action toward your goals, as opposed to just writing down your goals and never actually moving towards them. So he actually throws in quite a few different motivational strategies and just general practical steps, which everyone overlooks, which are so simple but so effective. And he also helps you realistically break free from not believing in yourself. So actually breaking free from limiting beliefs.
I like it.
And kind of changing and gearing your mindset to a more positive mindset, as well as a grateful, and helps you practice gratitude. So really good. He's an entrepreneur. He's a business owner. So it's really, takes you from the start where you might be right now and how you can, as the Japanese philosophy of Kaizen, daily improvement, 1 step at a time, keep improving. So that's all it is. But it's a great book, easy read, summary after every chapter. Highly recommend.
It's good having a summary after every chapter. Dial it in, give you a summary of it.
And he's also got journal prompts as well. So after every chapter, he's got 5 or 6 journal prompts, which he recommends writing down in your journal and actually asking yourself these questions.
That's good.
Which is actually pretty good.
So he kind of enforces it upon you.
Exactly right.
You got to do this.
Yeah, so that's my number 1.
I like it. Well, now I'm trying to figure out what order I want to present my three in, and
It doesn't matter.
during that I just thought of a bonus one as well.
Oh, Jesus.
So we're going to seven.
Righto.
I think I might follow along that sort of train that you're talking about. This one is called The Laws of Human Nature
Oh,
by Robert Greene. This was in 2018. It came out and published. So this man, Mr. Robert Greene, he mostly does research on like strategy and human behavior and stuff like that. So the book's mostly exploring like psychological motivations behind human behavior and then strategies for like understanding that and reacting to things and sort of playing chess with your emotions in a way. So
oh.
it helps you kind of understand what's going on with people around you and yourself,
Very important to
and
know.
then you can figure out how you want to react. So you can then take control of your life as opposed to following societal norms and like reacting
Was
certain
this an
ways to
audio book
things.
you read this, or is this a
This is an actual
physical?
book. There might be an audio book on it. That's unannounced at this point in time
Hmm.
for me. Um, but yeah, it'll help you better understand yourself and others. Um, and some of the key insights, I've just taken a couple of quick dot points to share. So, firstly, understanding human behavior. So, you can interpret different clues that people kind of emit when they're talking to you and the way they move and that kind of thing.
Which, if you're in like a sales role, like
Mm.
so any role
Yeah, or
actually,
even in a partner dynamic.
yeah, everything,
Yeah, just
everyday
anything in
life.
life, like understanding the cues that people are giving, just from like, whether they take a step back from you or they cuddle you a
Yeah,
certain way
yeah,
or whatever it
just
is.
basic EQ.
Yeah. Um, and knowing that helps you then understand like, why they're behaving the way they are.
Hmm.
So you can kind of figure out, okay, well, that's due to this and that and that and that. Helps you manage your emotions, which I think is extremely important in today.
Oh,
I think
definitely.
people are very over emotional, overreactive.
Yeah, some people can be.
Um, and yeah, get a grip on your emotions, basically, is what I'm saying here. So he'll teach you how to detach yourself from your own emotions and then basically master self control. So he's not saying don't have any emotion at all, but he's saying get away from your emotion in order to make the decision that you need to make.
Mm.
Like understand why you're having that reaction. Um, Speaking of emotion, develops empathy. So, um, he really focuses on the importance of empathy, which allows you to gain insight into perspectives of other people. So,
Makes sense.
it's not just saying I feel no emotion. It's saying understand it all and how to react to it and behave with it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then my favorite point is resisting conformity. Just simply live your purpose, live your life, and do not engage in societal pressures. Resist them. Do not conform.
Don't be a sheep.
Yeah, don't be a sheep. He's not saying go and be a criminal. He's not saying go the
Just
complete
do
opposite
your own
way.
thing.
Yeah, he's just saying do what you need to do, and you don't need to conform with society. You don't
I
need to
love
go
that.
and do things that people are
Don't have
doing.
to go to uni. You don't have to get a 9 to 5 job. You don't have to do the normal
Yeah,
buy a house, get married. Like you don't have to.
exactly. Yeah, you don't have to
Which
go and
everyone thinks they
get on
have to
every
do.
new trend
Yeah.
and do this and do that and all of that nonsense. So, yeah, it's a really good read. It gives you timeless truth about behaviors. Like, it could be the 1950s, it could be 2080, it could be whenever, and it's going to be the same.
2080, that's going to
Um,
be an interesting time.
it will be an interesting time if we're still kicking it.
I hope we are.
Well, one of us might be, the other maybe not so much. That's for you guys to determine.
Good reco there.
Thanks.
My second book is called Self Made. Author is Olivia Carr. So I actually stumbled across this book when I was in the Brisbane domestic airport. And like every airport, I like to go into the bookshop to just have a look at the top selling books
I like that. That's a
on the
good
shelf.
idea.
I love it. And then this one stood out because the cover was just all it said in just big font, self made. And I was like, oh, this looks good. So I actually picked up the book because of its cover. And everyone says don't trust the book by its cover. But I did. And the book is unbelievable. So the author, Olivia Carr, is she's now a successful entrepreneur who started literally as a broke mum of two kids, like living in a car basically when she was, mid 30s to now like a mega successful entrepreneur who, gets Kylie Jenner and the Kardashians to promote her products on their Instagrams. That's how she actually got big because they promoted one of her like silk sleep mask.
Oh,
Do you remember that? It was probably like 8 years ago. The Jenners and stuff all had their like own names
I
on
don't
it.
recall, but it makes sense because I've seen a lot of them popping off.
Well, yeah, well, that's it. So she started that. But this book guides you and the readers of the practicalities of building a successful business. It might be a business which is a service, like Asset Road, for example. It might be a business which has products, like an e-commerce store or something like that, which is actually selling eye masks or whatever it may be. But the book itself goes through all the nitty gritty from starting the business to being, successful and getting people to help you run it. So it talks about what you should be looking out for with your cash flow, your profitability, different strategies to help you navigate when there's a bit of uncertainty and you're not getting the numbers you may want to be getting. Shows you how to kind of navigate throughout that and make sure that you can still pay yourself and you're still successful. But it's all about balancing your business leadership as well as your personal life. So working hard, yes, but also having time to yourself with your friends, with your family, and still being successful and growing professionally. So, unreal book, another easy read. I do love easy reads. If
Yeah,
it's a hard read, it's like, well, there's no point. I don't want to read 600 pages of like a size 10 font.
I need like a catch every
Yeah,
however
this one
many
is a catch.
pages to make me be like, oh, cool, that's awesome. I like it.
Like the other book, this one has summaries after each chapter of like action points. So I believe like section one was figure out your business plan, which is something we did. And it is exciting if you have actually started a business. Any book like this is fun to read because you kind of relate to everything.
Yeah.
You're like, oh yeah, I remember doing this. And then I was just like going through all the action tips and points and being like, yeah, we did that, done it all, unreal. And we we're pretty actually on point. So yeah, it's a pretty easy summaries after everything. So if you are starting or looking to start a business, probably a good place to start is just picking up this book. Go to the airport. It's probably I think it's still top 10 on the airport book list at the moment because they always have a top 10 there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be having another look tomorrow and seeing if it's still there at the airport. I'll confirm. I'll be
Nice.
buying another book.
I might
But
buy one as well.
yeah, great book, self-made, love it.
Well, you've pretty much just steered me straight into my next one.
Great.
You mentioned the word self-made, and that just instantly we already know who we're talking about. The self-made, self-paid millionaire.
Mr. Pitbull.
He's around the world getting paid.
Yep.
God problems, no problems. Mr. Pitbull, the man, the myth, the legend, or should I say, Pitbull, the man, the machine, the
That's the
music.
audio book we listened to, isn't it? Or
We
you
have
played
listened
a
to an
little bit in the
audiobook of
car.
his, yes, but this one it's called Pitbull, the man, the machine, the music.
Oh,
Came out in 2013, obviously written by the man himself, Armando Christian Perez, or Amanda Bon, as he likes to refer to himself in a couple of songs. Mr. Worldwide, Mr. 305, Mr. Miami, whatever you want to call him, here he is. Um, this book gives like a sort of like a autobiography where he talks about himself. Now, this is a great book because he's a Cuban American. His
uh,
parents fled Cuba. He's born in America, but he's a Cuban American in Miami back in like, the 90s
yeah,
through to like 2010. Terrible place. It wasn't the Miami we know today.
yeah. I remember him
Um,
saying that.
it was
Bit of a dump.
a challenging neighborhood, let's say that
Gangs.
much. Yes. Um, and it was sort of all about the drug life. You either become a gangster, as it was called back then, or you get killed. That was basically it. And he just goes through his upbringing, through his rise to international fame and being the
And
number
it's a
one
big
man in the
rise.
world. There's a lot of insight into the struggles. There's a lot of insight into the business mind. There's a lot of insight into escaping things when you're not dealt the best cards. There's a
Mm.
lot of insight into making mistakes and doing the wrong thing, but then correcting your path. So, there might be people out there right now who are drug dealers or criminals or, they've made a few mistakes in their time. They might have even been locked up here and there. And, or even, it doesn't have to be that extreme. You could have just made a bad decision and gone somewhere you didn't want to go. But it's not too late to change. And Pitt, our man, Mr. Armando Perez, he walks through his life in that time period and talks about overcoming adversity. So he shares his struggles growing up in that neighborhood, and how he overcame obstacles like poverty and a troubled family life. Like he was out of home. His dad was MIA drug dealer. Um, he was getting housed different places because his mum couldn't afford to house him and was off working 3 or 4 jobs, um, trying to get money to then get him back into somewhere. And
Jeez, it'd be tough, tough upbringing that one.
yeah, it was tough. And that's actually why he's written his song with Dolly Parton called Powerful Women, where he talks about ladies working 5 to 9 and 9 to 5. It's a bit of a remake on that where they go off. He talks about persistence and hard work, emphasizing like perseverance and dedication in achieving success. He talks about Cuban heritage, and this is going to be good for anyone who, might not be necessarily born into a family with wealth, or they might be a first generation immigrant or a second immigration immigrant, and they're looking for that motivation. He gives it hard. So he talks about his Cuban roots, the influence of his parents, and that kind of thing, and then his business acumen. So ventures outside of music, including, he's built schools and stuff now. He's basically the man, the myth, the legend, or as he calls it, the man, the machine, the music.
Oh,
As well as that, if audiobooks are more your thing, he's got an audiobook. I think it's only on Audible because it's actually kind of a stretch of a podcast that he
oh,
does called From Negative to Positive. Great podcast. But he's got an audiobook, which is another autobiography called From Negative to Positive. And it's similar to The Man, the Machine, the Music, but it's up until a certain point. So he talks more about his childhood and more about the start and more about mistakes. Like, for example, he started to get a bit of traction and got a show, and he literally just got so drunk that he couldn't even get words out. So he was on stage, made a mockery of himself,
poor
and then
bloke.
had to restart again. Talks about his first album, Miami, and obviously Miami stands for money is a major issue. But yeah, anyway, that's
Didn't know that was obvious, but there you go.
well, it is in my world because I love Pitt. But
You do love Pitt.
there is my recommendation number 2, and kind of another one in there with the from negative to positive. Give
Yeah,
that a listen.
yeah, right. I do love it.
Mm,
And I can confirm the audiobook we did listen to was great. Very
yeah.
motivational when he got on the mic.
Well, it's interesting as well to go back and listen to like his first maybe 30
It's
songs
all rap, very
and
rap,
understand the lyrics behind them and like
very different to now.
yeah,
Like his
yeah.
style is,
And it's funny too because he actually discusses in it why his style changed
yeah,
and
it's
what it
sick.
was representing and like how he realized. Like he's got a line in a song where he goes, "I'm involved in the music business, but the funny thing is, a lot of these fools don't know music, don't know business, have no business in music. What is this?"
Mm.
And he's basically saying music is just a business, right? Like songwriting, singing, all of that. Yeah, sure, it's entertainment, but it's a business at the end of the day.
Yeah, everything's a
Like, what
business.
is your unique selling proposition? Like,
Yeah,
what are you doing that others aren't? And that's how you get the whole Spanglish creation, where he goes from one language to another. One night, two worlds, English, Spanish. One night, two girls, English, Spanish. Bang. That's enough about Pitt. Next, what is it?
you talk all day. Huh?
I could talk
He loves it.
decades about Pitt.
This is a bit of a classic. If you're a regular at a bookshop, you would have seen this pop up many times. But it's Morgan. I think it's pronounced Morgan Housel or Husel.
How are we reading that one? Let
The
me.
Psychology of Money.
Oh yeah, that looks about right.
Yeah, I think
Or
it
maybe,
is.
maybe even Housel.
Yeah, Housel. We'll go with Housel.
Just Morgan H, big dog.
Morgan Age, The Psychology of Money. The book is, as it is called, The Psychology of Money. How you should think about money in day to day life, how to simplify the thoughts of money, because it goes on about many individuals in the world, which we've talked about before on our own podcast, hate talking about money. They
Mm.
don't want to talk about money. They get all sweaty and agitated and anxious when
Sweaty.
money is being brought up in conversation. It's like you're sitting around dinner with your family and no one asks, so how's your business going? How much money are you making? Like, are you making enough money to
And
get your goals or
if
anything?
I may, even if they do ask that, the person on the receiving end might get a little bit offended.
Yeah.
Might put their hands
Yeah,
up
it's
and
like,
go,
whoa,
whoa,
whoa, whoa.
whoa.
Please don't talk about that.
Yeah, why are you like quizzing me? Am I not good enough? What's going on
I
here?
don't. It's bizarre because the one common denominator between everyone in the world is money. Everyone needs money to live. Everyone wants money and lots of money to live the life they always want. Because you don't grow up not wanting to like have the fastest car or have a big house. Like everyone grows up wanting to have a car one day, or you always have a goal.
You've just reminded me, and sorry for
Oh
cutting you
no,
off.
mate, you're not cutting me off.
Podcast for the future: slavery.
Yes,
Why we are all actually slaves today.
that is actually very good.
Yeah, I've been having dreams about it, And
I do like
my
that.
late night thoughts.
I do.
I've had
Yes,
some.
I do.
All right, continue. Sorry, my
Mate,
apologies.
no stress. But yeah, the psychology of money, apart from just talking about how we need to talk about money on a regular basis and make it normal, he emphasizes that success with money isn't just what you might think. It's about how you behave. So how do you actually spend your money day to day? Are you spending it on drinks at a club, ridiculous amounts of vodka shots or clothes and Rolexes and like the Menendez brothers as we just watched, they bought fancy watches, fancy cars, houses, etc. just because they were splurging. But it's about how you behave. And if you're smart with your money and you invest it accordingly and frugal in a way, that's the difference between someone in 20 years who's successful and set up as someone who's still living paycheck to paycheck. But he talks about the psychological aspects of financial decisions, exploring the irrational nature of the habits, deep dives into really about investing, saving, as well as understanding risk. So that is one of the big ones, the risk component, because everyone thinks, well, not everyone, but some people, when they're presented with an investment opportunity when it comes to money, being like, hey, Jimmy, if you invest in this, you can double your money in 2 years. All right, let's go. 2 years later, gone, never coming back. Talks about the risk associated with money and how you need emotional intelligence at the end of the day to make money work for you and figure out how you can really behave accordingly and actually make the most of your life. It's just a simple book, which, as it says in the heading of the name of the book, understand the psychology behind money. Breaks it down, which I love, and it's a must read for anyone looking to improve their financial literacy and also navigate complexities of wealth.
Mm, that's good.
Yeah, it's a good book.
Simple title.
Very simple,
Simple, simple,
and it's
simple.
they talk about what the book's called, so it makes sense to me.
My next book, a good book, one of the greatest books of all time.
Rich Dad Poor Dad.
No. We've done Rich Dad Poor
I
Dad
was going to
before.
say we have done
I'll
that
say,
before.
still read that if you haven't.
Yeah.
The Rational Male.
Oh, have not read that.
This is one for the male audience. Apologies to those females having a little listen. But this is for the men, it's for the boys.
Boys.
If you are a woman, feel free to recommend this to your man or your son or your
Or anyone,
friend if it's a male.
any guy you know.
Yeah, just any male. It's a book by, I think his name is called, and don't quote me on this, but I think it's Rollo Tomasi. Rollo Tomasi.
Brother, yeah, I love that.
Published in 2013. Now, this man, he's well known in what they call the manosphere. It's basically a bunch of communities in the manosphere that are focused on men's issues and like masculinity and that kind of thing.
Mm.
The book kind of goes through things like intergender dynamics and challenges of traditional notions of like masculinity, relationships, and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and the importance of actually embracing like competition and masculinity and all of that kind of stuff for men. That is.
Yeah.
So it talks about power dynamics and how all of that kind of works in terms of virtually everything, any relationship, friendship, and that kind of thing. Understanding a power dynamic. And one of my favorite, or two of my favorite points, where it talks about rejection. Rejection is better than regret.
Yes, I
Now,
agree.
everyone's instantly
That's a good point.
everyone's instantly going to be thinking we're talking about relationships and asking girls out on dates. And
That's what I thought straight away.
yeah, like what else do you think of?
Yeah.
But that is not specifically what he's talking about. So rejection is better than regret is saying any form of rejection is better than living regretting. Yeah, sure, we're all thinking back to that girlfriend, all the men out there anyway, thinking back to that girlfriend or potential girlfriend that when we were like 17, we didn't make a move and, we missed out on a great opportunity. We're thinking about it now.
Well, mate, yeah. I can sort of say, mate, I had one, lost one, got it back.
Oh,
Yeah, happy man.
that's a good man. But it's talking not only about partnerships, relationships, but business as well.
Oh,
Like any form of rejection, if you come with a deal or you come with a plan or you come up with a product and you present it and you get hit with rejection, keep trying. The rejection is better than the regret. Don't not ask.
I like.
Colonel Sanders, our man, as Pitbull talks about.
Yeah, How many times did he?
Mr. Sanders, we all know him. We all love him. Some more than others. Wicked Wings, unreal. But he got rejected 1,009 times before his recipe was actually used. The man that's created one of the biggest fast food joints in the world, an absolute behemoth,
Behemoth.
was rejected 1,009 times. Imagine if he just went, I give up. Never copped the rejection. He got rejected once and went, oh, that hurts so much. I can never do it again. No, mate. 1,009 times later, bang,
It's
success.
like sales as well. If you've got leads and you're prospecting every day, you might call 150 leads and get no on 149 of them. But all you need is that one person who wants to do business with you, and then all of a sudden you've got a sale.
Yeah,
Just keep persisting.
all jokes aside, get familiar with rejection. Do whatever you can to do it. If you are single, feel free to walk into bars and clubs and just go up to girls and go, hey, you want to dance? Get rejected, do what you need to do, and just keep the rejection flowing. Eventually, you'll be completely numb to it, and it's not going to matter. Rejection is fun.
And you're lucky last. You're bonus, do you?
Well,
Or is that the Pipples?
the next point, no, it's not people.
Oh,
The next point is self control and personal power. So, real power, like actual power, comes from controlling your own circumstances, right?
yeah.
So, he dives into that, dives into everything I've just spoke about, and a few more things which you won't air. Ultimately, good book for the man. Go have a read. You do need to be sensible when you read it and take into account what things you want to take on board and don't want to take on board. It's a quick disclaimer, but we'll get that out of the way. Finally, a little bonus I was going to do, I've decided against because we're at 31 minutes in.
Well, that keeps the podcast name and the six books. I was going to have to do 6+1.
Yeah, we're too far into the podcast. People are pulling up to work right now and going, "Oh crap, I can't sit in the car and be late."
Yeah, this is
We're not going to make you wait and be late to work out of anticipation. Go get in there, get the job done. Don't get fired on our behalf. But
hustle,
do
hustle, hustle. Make
do
big
cop some
moves.
rejection. Maybe at work, start asking your boss for a pay rise. Do some
Or
silly
you might be
things.
approved. Who
Yeah,
knows?
yeah. Ask him 1,009 times, and he might just give in. We will catch you all next time.
Yeah, we'll catch you
Enjoy
then. Hope you
your
enjoyed the
day, night,
the book
afternoon.
recommendation episode as always. The
Yeah,
third is a charm.
have a read. Let us know.
But as we should finish the podcast, one word to say: Dale.
Dale. As always, we hope you enjoyed the episode, and if you did, you know exactly what needs to be done.
Hit that follow button, subscribe, share it to friends, family, or even your co-workers, as sharing this podcast helps not just us, but everyone in the world to learn about their finances.
Thank you, Dale.